Hi, this is Mary, and no Tina, because Tina's not here. Hopefully, she'll record something to fill this over with, but if she doesn't, it's Bird Barf! Um,
Yay!
Yay! um, Tina happened to see the Saturday Night Live episode last week or the week before where Ryan Gosling took Santa Claus really seriously and it turned into a horror movie, and she was really excited because she thought, yay! Evan wished that there was a Christmas movie just like that, but since there isn't, she asked me for recommendations for Christmas-themed horror movies to watch, and I realized I knew one, so I figured I was going to call on my friend Miranda. Hi, Miranda.
Hello!
Thank you for being here.
Of course. I love Christmas and I love horror movies. So combined, it's even better.
The one thing that we did come up, we both were like, well, clearly Gremlins.
Yes. It was funny because at first we didn't even think of it, and it's one of
Yeah.
those Christmas movies that I do watch every Christmas season. In fact, I want to say 2 years ago, I made my mom watch it with me on Christmas night. So it's a classic, and
Yeah.
I love Gremlins. I kind of live with an actual Mogwai, so
Yeah, you do.
I like Gizmo. He's very cute to me.
Miranda's
But yeah,
dog looks like a mogwai.
she does. Even like the same color as him, which is creepy.
Yeah.
But no, Gremlins is great, and I actually side notes trivia wise, the guy who was in the original Gremlins talked about they're not doing a remake. They are going to be making a Gremlins 3, or speculating that this is happening. You know how Hollywood is.
Yeah.
But it's not a remake. It will be a 20 years in the future. Is really popular right now with movies. So hopefully with the original cast and not CG, I'm hoping for practical Gremlins again.
All right, but you also then watched another movie, which I actually 2 days after you mentioned it, someone else recommended it to me. So clearly, it's something I need to know about. So what did you watch?
Yes, I recently watched Rare Exports, which is a Christmas horror movie. It's a foreign film, so it is subtitled. Don't let that scare you. It came out about 4 or 5 years ago, and I remember it playing at the Music Box, which is a theater here in Chicago that Mary and I frequents a lot. And it aired there, and I meant to go see it for whatever reason, and it was just, they only had it as a midnight movie like a couple weeks. I just never made it, and always wanted to see it, and then never did. Um, and then it was on Netflix a few years ago, and I tried getting my mom to watch it with me on Christmas a few years ago, and that did not go over well. And so finally watched it now for this holiday season, and I had heard it was very good, but some people like really bad horror movies, they'll say are good. This one actually turned out to be very good, and not bad good, just actually really, really good.
What's it about?
So the basic plot, and I don't want to give too much away because there are a few misdirections and stuff
Okay.
that you don't want to know about.
Spoiler free as possible.
Yeah, I won't give any spoilers, but the basic premise is there's this I wouldn't even call it a town. It's kind of a hunting community in Finland. This is where it's a Finnish film, and the original land of Santa, as they bill it. And it's about a month till Christmas. It starts off, and it starts at this big excavation site. And you think they're just drilling for minerals, or in America we'd be like, oh, they're drilling for oil. You're not really sure what they're drilling for, and but they find sawdust as they're drilling through all this rock in this big mountain. They find this sawdust, and the guy who is in charge, this rich, actually American, that's the only part of the film that's English.
Bad guy.
They find the sawdust, and he makes this big deal about they used to use sawdust as early refrigeration. And as they dig deeper, then they find like a core of ice, and he's basically like, there's something buried down there. And meanwhile, these two little kids, primarily one little boy who's sort of the focus of the film, are sneak into this dig site where they're not supposed to be. And the kid is like, oh, it's what if it's Santa down there? And because it's really close to Christmas. From there, it gets even crazier. But again, a very well done film. It's really actually quite good for a a plot like that you would think would be a cheesy like sci-fi horror movie.
Like Santa conquers
Actually,
the Martians.
yeah, exactly. But it was really really good, and again subtitled, but don't let that scare any listeners from watching it.
Mhm.
It's as any good movie that's foreign, you don't even notice it.
Yeah.
When you're watching it that it's subtitled. So
Cool. Is it like super gory or is it mainly plot driven?
mainly plot driven. So I could see where some people wouldn't even be like, "Oh, this wasn't a good horror movie." There's a
Mhm.
few good jump scares, but they're not in there to be hokey.
Yeah.
There is some gore, there is some blood, but mostly story and plot driven,
Okay.
and acting. And again, a few misdirections and a few really cool twists that
Mhm.
I, even watching so many horror movies over time, you get used to like, oh, well, this is what's going to happen. A lot of stuff I actually didn't see coming, which was a real nice surprise in watching it. I thought I had it figured out, and you don't. So
Mhm. Well, cool. All right. I guess I'll have to watch that.
yeah, it's not on Netflix anymore. For anyone listening, it is streaming right now, at least on Hulu.
Okay.
And on Amazon Prime, I believe, but you have to pay for it on Amazon. You can't just watch it unless you're paying for Prime. But Hulu is probably
Mhm.
your best option.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you again. And thank you to anybody who bothered listening to this. You guys make us really happy. I'm always
Yay! Thanks.
surprised. Yeah. So, bye.
Bye.